Let's move some things here. Ooh. Oh my god, I almost just fell. How'd that happen? Okay. Yeah. Light the candle. Are you fucking kidding me? Oh, no, we're gonna be able to do this. Oh, fuck, without burning myself. That sucks. That actually sucks. Alright, never mind about the candle. Dude, I hear my son's TV so loud right now. Good morning, dolls. Morning. Good morning. How's it going? I'm just hanging out. I had really not enough time to do anything, so I figured I'd stop in and say hi to you guys, see how you guys are doing. What's up? What's up? Oh yeah, it's Friday. I gotta leave soon to go get my son, so not that soon. Like an hour or two, but I'm like it's not enough time to really get anything productive done. So you know how that goes. You gotta leave in the middle of like you don't want to start something and then you gotta leave. So how's everybody doing? I'm doing great. I don't have anything like really exciting to discuss today. I was just repotting some plants. That's about it. Thanks, Alicia. Yeah, that's what I was doing. I was repotting. I had grown, like, cut pieces of some of my other plants to propagate them, so I was putting them in pots. Because it was time. It was time. And then other than that, I really haven't been... I don't have anything exciting to say, except, you know, I'm not going to be... I figured I would go live today because I'm not going to be around for... The next week's going to be crazy for me. So we're going away at the end of the week. So I figured I'll pop in. I'm going to be busy next week packing and doing all the fun shit. Laundry. I got to do my nails. So, and I only got like 4 days to do it. So, and I'm busy tomorrow. I got a lot of shit going on. So, time is of the essence here. Hey, Muffin Mouse. How you doing? So, other than that, excuse me. I've just been, you know, trying to get some shit done. It's fucking so hot out. So hot. We're not really going on like a vacation, so we're not really going on a vacation, but we're going on a trip. I'll put it that way. We're going on a trip, not really a vacation. I mean, it is nice to like get away from home, but you know, there's probably a million other things I would rather be doing than what I'm doing, but whatever. That is my life. So, at least for the next couple of years. I'm not going away for my fun. We're not going away like that kind of going away. Going away for my kid. So, for hockey. So it's the season is upon us. It's about to start up again. So we have a lot of traveling to do this year. And yeah, I will be away a lot. So, well, just like I always am, right? I feel like I'm always away. But this year is going to be intense. It's a big year for him, so for his age group, he's ow, this is the year they start hitting in hockey, so there's going to be injuries, there's going to be concussions, and there might need to be a need for me to start acquiring Xanax. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to take Xanax, but it's going to be a rough year. It's going to be hard to watch. Pink Boberto link. Yeah, no thanks. Who are you? Let's see. Let's click on your Pink Boberto. Birdo. That's an interesting name. Are you like the little character from Mario Brothers? Yeah. No. I don't know who you are, so we'll pass on that. We'll pass on that. You need to take an insurance policy out. What do you mean? We can't do that. There's no insurance for that kind of shit. You play at your own risk here. So, if they get hurt, they get hurt. A friend of mine, dude, this shit's crazy. A friend of ours that we've known for years, their son, who's a little older, just had a horrible accident, dude. Oh my God. Ugh, it's so terrible. And it was like a total freak thing. Nothing to do with hockey, although he plays hockey, but he was at the beach with his friend and he went to like jump through a wave. They were just about to leave and they were going back in the water just to like cool off and before they left, and he like jumped through a wave and like somehow, I don't know if he hit something in the water. We don't really have like rocky beaches here, so I don't really know what he hit. I don't know if he hit a sandbar. I don't know if there was something else in the water that he didn't see, but he like hit something, crushed his C4 disc in his neck, I guess. I don't really know too much about that, but he's I don't they don't think he's ever, gonna play hockey again. So fucking sad, dude. We know the family very well. And I'm just like, oh my God, like what a freak thing. What a fucking freak thing to happen. I don't fuck with the ocean, but I never even heard of something like this happening, but apparently it's like a common thing that happens. So I don't go in the ocean, dude. I just like, there's too many fucking things that could happen with the ocean. So I'm so sad for the parents because, I mean, I just can't even fucking imagine, like, especially at this time of year, it's like, you're just about to get started back with hockey and school and everything. And now you're dealing with this tragedy and it's, thank God he's like alive and he's going to be okay. But his life has changed now from here on out. And it's just terrifying, first of all. And it's just so sad. And oh my God, I'm just so upset for them. It's such a horrible situation. I like cannot even believe it like is happening. So that just happened like a few days ago. We found out about that. So, oh my God. And it's just like, it's like I'm always telling my son all the time, I'm like, now you know why I'm so overprotective of you. It's like, it only takes 1 second for something like that to happen. And then your whole entire life is changed. Whether it's riding a bike and getting hit by a car or, texting and driving, right? Like, or just anything, just not looking when you cross the street and getting hit by a bus. Like, that's why I'm always reminding you to pay attention to what you're doing because it really just only takes 1 second. Like, this was a freak thing. I don't think he could have really done anything wrong except for maybe not go in the water. But, it's probably something he did a million other times in his life and just didn't, think that that was going to happen. And, here it is now. I don't know what his life and his future is going to look like. It's so sad. He's such a nice kid too. It's just a fucking shitty situation, man. But I'm like, you gotta still you gotta be careful with everything you do, dude. You always gotta say, I was always like a paranoid kind of person, like worried about getting hurt and shit. So like, but I took my chances in certain things, you have to, I mean, to have a little fun in life, but I'm like, you just got to be careful. Like, you don't, you do something innocently, not thinking that it could potentially be dangerous, but it could turn into a horrible thing. That's what I did in a swimming accident. Person jumped off the diving board. Hold on a second. See, like, I've heard of that happening. Torn ligaments. Oh my God. Yeah, he had to get so much surgery, dude. Whew. Right now, it's dangerous to swim in both fresh and salt water. What the fuck? My thing just went off. Hold on a second. I lost your comment. Where the hell did that just go? Oh, salt water due to bacteria. It germinates faster, especially during the summer. Yeah, have you heard of like those people that get like I don't know, they'll go in like a lake or something and they'll like accidentally inhale some water and there's like these bacteria that go up to your brain from your nose. And I'm like, what the fuck? Dude, pools are the only water I go in. I don't go in lakes. I don't go in fucking rivers. I don't go in fucking oceans. No thanks. No thanks. First of all, I don't like when you can't see what's around you. That's my biggest problem is like, I want to know what I'm, walking around. And I hate when you're like in the ocean and the seaweed gets stuck on your feet and you're like, what is that? Like, I'm just way too jumpy of a fucking human to go in the ocean. I've been in the ocean, but when I was a kid, I went in the ocean. I was at the beach with my cousins and we were boogie boarding and I went in the beach and I was like a fish, like when I was a kid. I mean, I used to love the water. I had a pool in my backyard, you know, so like I was like a water bug. Like I just loved being in the water. But this one time we went to the beach, I jumped on the boogie board and I don't know if I got sucked in by like an undertow or something and I couldn't find my way up and my whole face scraped the bottom of the you know, like the ocean floor, the sand, everything. Oh my god, it was horrible. And I was like in such a panic because I got disoriented in the water and I couldn't figure out which way was up. And it took me like a while. It seemed like forever, but who knows how long it actually was. But I ended up like finding my way up to the water. Thank God I was a good swimmer. And, you know, I got out of the water, had like old water in my throat and everything. And that was it for me. I never went in the fucking water again after that. So I was like, yeah, I'm good on the ocean. I'm good. I mean, I've been back in, but like, it has to be like the most calm of calm days. And now that there's sharks coming up here, we never had sharks on Long Island, like big sharks, you know. Yeah, no thanks. I'm good. I'm good. Looking out the window, a squirrel is running off with a pepper. Ah, shit. What the fuck? Yeah, so I'm like, ooh, I'm like, I'm good. I'm good. Ooh, I want to show you guys this video I saw this morning. Check this out. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it now. I gotta go in my histories. Give me a second here. What in the fuck is that? Dude, I got some weird shit in my recommendations. Hold on a second. Me. Oh, wait. Wait a second. Oh, history. Okay. Wait, what the fuck? This can't... What is going on here? Wait a second. Am I logged into my wrong... How did I get logged into my other account? That's so weird on here. I'm like looking at this. I'm like, wait a second. That's my other account. My brand account. How did I get logged into that? Alright, give me a second here. Huh? I don't even know how the fuck that happened. I'm looking at the picture and I'm like, wait a second. I'm like, that picture, I haven't had that picture on my channel in the longest time. How did that get there? All right, hold on a second. Let me get to my history. Oh, I am on it. Duh. All right, let me find this. You guys will. It's the quickest video ever. And of course, I have to expand this. Hold on a second. Oh my god, my nose is so stuffy right now. Dude, do you guys have those lantern bugs around you? Those fucking, they're called, I don't know, lantern flies or something. They're actually really pretty looking. They almost look like these moths, but they do a lot of damage to crops apparently, and you're supposed to kill them. And so years ago, I'm going to say like 3 years ago, I think we were in Pennsylvania. I'm pretty sure that's where we were. And it was in September and we came out of like an ice rink. And dude, these things were like bombarding us. I was like, what the fuck are these things? They were everywhere. They're like hitting you in the head. I mean, there was like tons of them. You guys know how I am with bugs. So I'm like, what the fuck are these things? They're kind of pretty, but like stay away from me. So I never seen them before. I'm like taking pictures of them. I'm like, what the fuck are these things? Like they're so, you know, they're cool looking. They're like this bright blue and like red color with like spots on them. Almost like a moth, you know, but big. They're pretty big for like a moth, you know. Well, I guess there's all different size moths, but anyway. So I was like, oh, I mean, every rink we came out of, these things were like all over the fucking place. You would just look around and see them everywhere, and they're like hitting you in the head and hitting you in the legs. So I'm like, what the fuck are these things? Ugh. And I'm like, oh, so I looked it up and it was these, you know, lantern flies, and they were saying that they're like super invasive and like really bad for, you know, the trees and crops and everything. I was like, oh shit, I hope we don't get those here. And now I've been seeing them, at least like 1 or 2 of them a day. So I like run outside with the bug spray. I'm like spraying the shit out of them. But yeah, they're fucking weird, dude. As soon as you like you could go to step on it, you're supposed to crush them. But you go to step on it, you know, this thing takes off. Like, it like bounces like a kangaroo. I swear to God, it like fucking shoots up in the air so fast. It's like fucking, every time I like scream, I'm like, ah! The thing like fucking, I've never seen a bug move like that. The thing's like, I'm like, why are we getting all these bugs from like other countries that are like alien bugs, like that jump? And I don't know, man. This thing is fucking so scary. Yeah, they're pretty. They're very hard to kill. I don't know. Oh, and I was watching this video yesterday where this girl had like a handful of them. She's like holding them and then she's like throwing them on the ground and stomping on them. And I was like, ew. I'm like, that'll be the day I ever hold them in my hand. But yeah, like if you go to like the second you go to like step on them, they like bounce like 10 feet in the air. I've just never seen anything like this. I'm like, that thing is fucking gross, dude. Absolutely fucking gross. All right, so I don't know how many of you guys are following the Idaho 4 case. I'm sure a lot of you guys have. But I just got this in my feed this morning. It's so oversaturated, dude. Oh my God. You hear like this same story on like 20 different channels. And it's... Oh my God. It's getting annoying. Why do I still have this fucking weirdo up on my screen? All right. Check this out. This is Brian Koberger in... Hold on, I'll make it bigger for you guys in case you're watching on the phone. And let me get this person out of here. Figure skating coach! Hey! Hold on. Hey, can't say... I just saw Science Girl here. I want to tell her... I've been texting you to change your number, Alicia. Oh! I think she did. She definitely did. If you want her new number, text me, girl. And I'll text... How are you? I'll just text me and I'll give you her new number. Hold on a second. I gotta let Ovi out. He's banging my door right now. It's so good to see you. Go ahead. Go. Alright. Oh my God, my knee is killing me. Sorry. Dude, my left knee. I know it. I'm gonna need... Oh, you have her number? Alright. My knee is killing me. It hurts so bad. I don't know what's going on. I'm probably gonna need knee surgery one day. So check this out. It's so stupid and so quick, but this was him in his cell at the last jail he was at. So this isn't where he's currently being housed. It's at the Ada, is that what it's called? Jail. Ada County. But just look at this motherfucker. What? Dude, like... I just can't, I can't make sense of this crime. It's been like in my head for the last couple weeks, obviously, because it's all over YouTube if you're watching this sort of thing. But it's like, dude, like, why did you do this? I think the why, everybody wants to know why. And I think the why is because he wanted to. You know, that's why. We'll never understand why. I really just think it's just, he wanted to do this and he did, you know, he wanted to see if he could do it, get away with it. He obviously had a interest in criminology and, you know, the field. And I think he just wanted to kill somebody and know what it felt like. Sometimes it's as simple as that. And it doesn't make sense to like us normal people, right? Who don't want to do that kind of thing, who never want to know what that feels like. But I think that in his head, you know, he wanted to know what it felt like. And that's what he did. All right. Thanks, figure skating coach. It was so good to see you. So anyway, right? He's in the jail cell, but it's kind of funny. Like he looks like first of all, jazzy shoes. I mean, they look like some, I don't know, state issued Converse, right? Like what are those? Orange socks. Black pants, and then he's got his shower slippers over here. I'm not really sure what's going on right here. And look at that toilet bowl. Could you imagine having to like, dude, there's a camera pointed on you. All right, I got arrested. You guys all know this. I've told you a million times about this, okay, for DWI. And let me tell you, I probably only spent a total of like 12 hours, if even, in that jail cell that night. You know, just waiting until they bring you to court to get arraigned the next morning. And dude, I mean, the 11 hours or 12 hours that I spent there, when they close that fucking door, dude, I'm telling you, it is the most like, it is the most horrifying feeling because you're like, holy shit, like the second you hear that thing close, you're like, my freedom's gone. And you're like, you start panicking because you're like, I can't just open the door. And you take those things for granted, just being able to open a door and walk into a different room. Like I was stuck in there. There was literally a camera pointed down at me, a toilet bowl just like that. Okay. And like I had to pee. So like on like I know that there's people watching me, and it was so dehumanizing. It was so humiliating, and it was my fault that I was there. I'm not, it is what it is. I made a mistake years ago, but I'm just saying, like, it's a horrible feeling. Okay, back at that time, especially, the same as today, obviously, I was a law-abiding citizen, dude. I worked for a full-time job. I went to work every day. I was only out that weekend because my friend came home from, Pennsylvania, where she lives, and her brother was here too. And so from the army, and I hadn't seen them in a while. And so we went out and we had a couple of drinks at the bar, and then, shit happened. But, just spending that like 10 or 11 or 12 hours, whatever it was, locked in a room, okay, that is disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting in there. I was in a holding cell, so it's a little different because you don't have a bed. There was like a little bench, like a wooden bench, but just stuck in there. It was freezing cold, okay. It was so uncomfortable. It was loud because there was all other people talking, down in the other cells and everything. And it was like that 11 hours or 12 hours, whatever it was enough to, like, for me to know I would never want that in my life again. Like, I would never want to experience that. And no matter what, even when you're a law-abiding citizen, once you get through those doors, they don't fucking care. They don't give a shit, like, you're like, I'm not like this girl. Like, there was a girl in there who was pregnant and on heroin. Then there was another girl who was, she was in there because, she had 11 counts of armed robbery. Her and her two boyfriends, I don't know why she had two, they were going around robbing, like, stores and shit, like, gas stations, okay? They don't see me, the person who's just, happen to go out with their friends that they haven't seen in a long time one night and have, too many drinks. I didn't even have too many drinks. I literally literally blew 0.08. So it's like the legal limit right there. So it wasn't like fucking totally shit-faced or anything by any means, So, you know what I'm saying though? It's like that, like, I'm not robbing people. I'm not on heroin. Like, they don't care though. They don't give a fuck. Like, they treat you and that person and the person next to them all the same. As soon as you walk through that door, your citizen, your free citizen rights are just stripped. Like, nobody cares. You're just looked at as a fucking loser as soon as you come in there, and that's how you're treated by every single person you interact with. There's no compassion. There's no, there's nothing. And like, I went through, the smallest process ever. I can't even compare it to what, other people have been through. But I'm just saying that one night was enough to scare me fucking straight. I was like, this is not somewhere I ever want to fucking be. It's not somewhere I ever saw myself, but it's not somewhere I ever want to fucking see again. It was a horrible, horrible experience, It's disgusting in there. It smells. It's fucking gross, dude. It's just gross. So, I mean, to me, if I was him, I honestly would rather stand in front of a fucking firing squad than spend the rest of my life like that. I couldn't even take 12 hours of it, dude. I was like, this is fucking horrible. Like, this is the worst thing I could imagine, for myself right now. So I can't imagine being like, yeah, I'll spend the rest of my life here in this situation. Now he's locked up for 23 hours a day. And then, just fucking fuck that shit. And he's only like in his late 20s. So, I mean, like, what the fuck were you thinking, dude? He is such a vulture, though. He looks like a vulture. He's disgusting. All right, so here he is, just kind of walking about in his little cell at the ADA County Jail. Look at that toilet bowl. Doesn't it look like it's so low to the ground, too? Like, I'm looking at it. I mean, he is kind of tall, but, like, everybody knows these garbage pails, okay? You see this garbage pail right here in the background? Like, that's like this standard, like, school office building garbage pail. And like, those things are tiny. They're like really short. And it looks, in comparison, the garbage pail looks to be the same height as the toilet bowl. So I'm like, dude, that is low to the ground. But, and then look, this sink is right up there. And he's got his toilet paper. You don't even get a toilet paper holder, dude. You just gotta like keep it up there and hope it doesn't fall on the dirty ground. Ugh. Oh, it's so gross. All right, so he's like, it looks to me like he's putting, I'm not sure what he just put up there, but I mean, it's kind of funny because there's really nothing interesting in this video except for the fact that, like, it's him, but because he's just, like, he's not doing anything all that interesting, but it is kind of crazy to see him in the jail cell. Like, when do you get to see that? But I'm looking at all these things in the jail cell, and I'm like, holy shit, they have the light. The light is just, like, a regular fixture, and I'm like, you're telling me that these people can't, like, get up there and, like, take pieces out of here? I don't know. What's this little gray thing, too? I'd like to know what that is. He's so grossed out. Now, mind you, he's a germaphobe, so that sucks for him because he's in, like, dude, you are in the worst fucking possible place if you're afraid of germs. Like, I can't think of anywhere besides, like, a sewage plant that would be dirtier than a jail cell. I do see a little plug right here. I just noticed that. He's got something plugged in right here. I couldn't really see this on my phone. And he's got another roll of toilet paper here in the corner that looks like it's, like, half used. Like, look at him. Yeah, dude, look around. Look around. What an odd bird. What an odd bird. he's so oddly shaped. Oh, the prison that he's in is way worse than this now. No air conditioning. No heat in the winter. Could you imagine? Oh my god, that's why I'm saying I would rather have taken my chances, went to trial, and fucking just shoot me and fucking kill me, dude. Because the thought of me ever, to me, I like, there's so many people, this case has got me, like, it's just crazy because, like, people are like, it's so unfair, he has to spend the right, he's allowed to live. And I'm like, dude, to me, living in prison, yeah, he's allowed to live and breathe and he could talk to his family, but this is not a life that you want, dude. This is not a life. It's not even a life. This is barely being alive at this point in time, living in prison for the rest of your life. To me, this is the worst punishment possible. To me, the death penalty is the easy way out. It's like, oh, you're going to die. So, you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to suffer. To me, suffering for God knows how many years for the rest of your life, that's the worst punishment I could see. The absolute worst punishment I could see. Because trust me, his life is not going to be easy in here. People are crying. They're like, oh my God, he gets an iPad? How could they give him an iPad? First of all, okay, relax. The true crime Karens are out, you know, in this case. They're like, oh my God, he gets an iPad. First of all, let's just look at it like this. The iPad, what does it do? It replaces pen and paper, which prisoners have always had, okay, so he could write to his family. Because they're like, oh my God, he gets the email. And I'm like, okay, if he didn't get to email, they would give him a pen and paper and he would be able to write letters. So what's the difference, okay, with the email or pen and paper? It doesn't make a difference, except for that you're saving trees now, right? Because he doesn't have to fucking write actual letters and waste paper, okay? He could order his commissary on there, which he could do anyway. Okay, so that's no different. Brian Enton said he could play games on there, which I found a little strange, but that's possible. If he can, guess what? Prisoners could always play games. They get cards. They could buy a deck of cards at the commissary. Okay. They get crossword puzzles. They could do, you know, games like that. So, okay. So still, nothing about his prison life is really changing. You know what I'm saying? That the iPad's not changing. They can't go on Facebook. They can't go on TikTok. Okay, they're not going to be making YouTube videos, although there are some prisoners that get, like, contraband phones and they're able to do that shit. But on the prison-issued iPads, you can't do any of that shit, okay? So it's basically, you might be able to, like, read a book, like a Bible or something, but guess what? They also have a library, okay? Somebody comes around with a library cart. Or if you're, you know, depending on your security level, you could go to a library sometimes in the prison. You could actually go to the library and spend time in there. So the iPad is not changing his life all that much, okay? It's not going to enrich his life all that much. He can't go shopping on Amazon, you know, and order more K-bar knives like we know he likes to do. There's nothing this guy could do with this iPad that, you know, that's going to enrich his life. To me, it's actually better that he gets the iPad because it's like, here you go. Here's a little reminder of the outside world. You know, every time you got to touch that thing, you're like, this thing sucks. Because I would, you know, and you're going to remember your old iPad that you had, you know, where you were able to go online and talk to other humans and go on Reddit and ask your weird fucking creepy questions about visuals to know and all this other shit. Like, you know, you stalk people, right? Like he probably did, even though he erased all of his history. There's no VPNs on the fucking prison iPad, dude. So to me, I actually like that he gets the iPad because it's like a little reminder of the outside world and what he could have, but he fucked it up. You know what I'm saying? So I actually think it's a great thing that he gets the iPad. It doesn't bother me because when you think about it, it's just replacing things that he would be able to do anyway. It's just a different way of doing them. And it, to me, it probably, number one, I watched a video a while back where they talked about this because obviously it's controversial. You know, people are up in arms about prisoners getting iPads and being able to do visits and stuff like that way. But really, it probably streamlines things for the staff. And the other thing that they said in this video was that it keeps them busy and it keeps everybody safe. You know what I'm saying? If they're emailing, if they're doing something on the iPad, I know it's hard for people to like grasp that and be like, you know, he doesn't deserve anything and he needs to be punished. But at this, you know, at the same time, you have basic human rights, okay? And it is what it is. But like, he's gonna, it keeps them busy. It keeps the staff safe when they're busy, okay? Because the boredom that these people experience, I watched this whole documentary about isolation and what it does to people mentally. And it's actually really sad and scary. Even like the strongest of people will come out of isolation, you know, doing crazy things, thinking crazy things. So, you know, drawing with their own shit on the walls, like, you know, it's bad. So it's better for everybody in the prison that, you know, these iPads keep these people busy and they're not being destructive or causing problems or hurting the guards, or, you know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, you kind of have to look at the whole situation and not just like, oh, I want Brian, you know, to suffer for the rest of his life. He's going to suffer with or without the iPad. Okay. To me, you could give me a fucking full functioning iPad and I still would fucking rather die. Like, that's not going to change the situation, dude. He's locked in a fucking cell for 23 hours a day. Do you really think an iPad? I mean, how much, like, internet browsing could you do? You know? How much TV could you watch? Because that's another thing people are upset about. They're like, oh my God, he gets a TV. Yeah, he gets probably, like, 5 basic cable channels, okay? Who fucking cares? He's stuck in a fucking room, dude. You know, staring at 4 blank walls. There's no art. There's no stimulation. There's no sun. There's no window. Who fucking cares if he has a TV? Like, really? Do you really think that that's going to change his situation all that much? No. He's still locked in a room for 23 hours a day. Who fucking cares? Go ahead. Watch TV, dude. Have fun. Like, to me, I think that's great. I think it's great that he gets the TV and he has to, like, sit there and that's all he could do is watch TV. Because I know me, I get bored with TV very quickly. So fuck him. You know, fuck him. Fuck him. All right. So anyway, this is just him. Look at him. He's just looking around like at his little tiny shelf of belongings, dude. The smallest amount of shit you could have, you know? That's your life. That's going to be your life. This is before he pled, so. Now, this is where I was weirded out. Look at his bed. It looks like a hospital bed to me. It looks like it has wheels. This is in the ADA or ADA. I don't know how you say it. County jail, but it looks like he has wheels. It almost looks like a hospital bed. I was a little weirded out. I don't know. I was picturing like the typical prison bunks kind of things that you see. You know, he's got his little blanket. This looks like a remote control of some sort. And so does this. I don't know why. This little thing looks like a remote. I'm not sure what this red thing is right there. But look at him. He's sitting there. He's sitting there cleaning his little state-issued Crocs. Or whatever the fuck. Dude, you could clean those shoes a million times. Like, who fucking cares if they're clean? You're in jail. You're in jail. They're gross. Everything's gross. He's literally sitting there wiping his little shoes. Look at him. He's fucking staring at the wall, cleaning his fucking shoes. I don't know what he's staring at. I doubt there's a mirror there. That's another thing, dude. When you're in jail, you don't even know what you look like anymore. Think of how fucking weird that is. You never see an actual mirror, dude. I think in the bathrooms they have, I've seen them before in places. They have like a mirror, because obviously they got to shave and stuff, but it's not a glass mirror. It's like a really shitty mirror, you know, like where it just like basically shows your reflection, but it's all scratched up and shit. So like you can't even look at yourself closely, you know, ever again for the rest of your life. Like that's fucking weird too. Fuck that guy though. Look at him. I love that he's like just standing there cleaning them. All right, so I don't know what he's doing here. It seems like he always seems to have little white things in his hands, like wipes maybe, toilet paper. I don't know. Oh, it's definitely a piece of toilet paper he put up there. Some type of balled up toilet paper. I don't know. It's just kind of funny seeing him fucking standing there staring at the fucking wall like an idiot. Fuck you. I just can't believe that there's still people that... Oh, sorry.
In today's video, we hear from Stephen Young.
Oh, shit. There's still people that think that this guy is innocent, dude. I'm like, what? Like, what kind of guy, right, pleads to life in prison who's innocent? Life in prison, dude. This isn't like, you know, he can't appeal this. That was part of his deal, was that he can't appeal his sentencing. So, like, he is stuck in prison. Like, who the fuck does that? Yeah, like, those aluminum mirrors, that's what they get. Like, who does that? An innocent person? I mean, come on, dude. I think people just want to keep the story going. And so, you know, that's their way of doing it. Because I'm like, dude, there's no way you could think this guy's innocent at this point. With all the evidence, right? How do you even think that this guy is innocent at this point? They're like, oh, they had nothing against him. I'm like, okay, they had his knife sheath in the room, which is pretty compelling with his DNA on it, right? That's pretty solid evidence right there. Then they have most of the rest of the evidence was circumstantial, okay? You know, but what's the chances? What's the chances that this guy's car, you know, it's like, oh my God, his knife sheath's found in the room. And then, oh my God, what's the chances? Somebody saw him, and the way that they describe this person kind of sounds like a description of him, right? Then, oh, he turned his phone off at that time. How strange, you know? Like right at that time, his phone just happens to go off, right? And then turns back on after the murders happen. Then, oh my God, a car that looks exactly like the car he drives is seen on all these different cameras circling the fucking block like a shark, you know, right before these murders occur. Like, what's the chances? I mean, there's just like so much evidence, dude, to me that I mean, how could you even think it's not him? And then there's people like, oh, he was framed. That's what they're saying now. That's the new narrative that these people are trying to push, which the people call the pro-burgers. They're trying to push that, oh, he was framed. I'm like, I love when people come up with these, you know, people were framed things. If you want to look at a situation where somebody was framed, okay, we could use Karen Reed, for example. It makes sense that she was framed, right? She was the only person involved in that whole situation who, number one, wasn't involved, you know, wasn't connected somehow to the police department, right? She was an outsider. She was the only outsider that was at the house that night. Every other person that was involved in that house, that was at that house, had some connection to the police department, okay? That, in that situation, it makes sense, right? Because they're like, oh, let's just blame the one person who, you know, wasn't involved in the police department, right? That's the easy scapegoat. But in this situation, it doesn't make any sense, because you're like, first of all, where would they have gotten this guy from? Did they just pick his name out of a hat? Like, why him? You know what I'm saying? He has no connection to these people. He doesn't go to the school. So why would the police just randomly pick this guy who goes to a whole nother college, right? Who's going to get his PhD, which makes it even more unbelievable, because you're like, why? A PhD student did this? Like, you would think some, you know, lunatic off the streets did it. You're not thinking it's this highly educated person that's going for their PhD to become a fucking professor in criminal justice. That's the last person you're going to think is going to, you know, commit a crime like this. So it's like, I don't, like, where do you find that they got this person? Why would they pick him? Why? Who is he? He's nobody. He's not connected to the case. So it doesn't make any fucking sense. If they're going to frame somebody that's like I don't know, one of the guys that lives in the fucking frat house or something. But, like, who is framing him? That's the other thing. Who exactly is framing him and why? You know, like, what are the Moscow police trying to hide? Why are they framing him? A lot of people think it's because one of the, I think it was one of the ex-boyfriends of one of the girls that lived in the house, Jack, whatever, I forget his last name. It starts with a D. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now. But they're like saying, like, I don't know, he had some kind of connections or something. But I'm like, all right, it still doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense. You know, if they're gonna frame somebody who actually makes sense in this situation. This guy had no connection to this situation, and it just doesn't make any type of fucking sense to me why they would pick him. It's like he wasn't framed. He's not gonna appeal, chick. He's not appealing. He's not appealing. Did they find DNA in that vehicle? What, his vehicle? No, because he scrubbed the shit out of it. He had a month in between the time that he did the crimes. I mean, dude, why did he plead guilty? Okay, innocent people typically are going to fight tooth and nail for their innocence. They're not going to plead guilty 2 weeks before jury selection starts in their fucking trial. I mean, that just doesn't happen. Most of the time when people falsely confess to things, it happens very early on in the story. It happens when they're being interrogated and, you know, they're being put under pressure and they're feeling like they're being psychologically tortured, and then that's when they start, you know, giving false confessions. Not 3 years in, where he's a week away from trial and his attorneys have exhausted every single motion that they could possibly make to get this guy a fair trial. You know? Every motion. Yes, his phone pinged at the house so many times before the murders, and then never again after, except the one time when he went back. He's definitely not... he can appeal, though, chick. He can appeal. How's he appealing? He can't. There's no appeal. What is he going to say? Ineffective counsel? Okay, they'll bring up all the records of every motion that was made and be like, really? Yeah. He had one of the best attorneys in Idaho defending him. So, good luck with that one. There's nothing he can appeal on. There's absolutely nothing he can appeal on, and I think that was... I just listened to a... what do you call it? An interview with the DA yesterday, and he can't appeal. That's part of his deal, is that he can't. Just like Chris Watts. Chris Watts can't appeal. He pled guilty, and that's it. He's stuck. So that's the end of it for him. And there's also reports out that he's being tortured in prison. They're obviously, okay, it's new. He's new there. So all the inmates are going fucking bananas in there, and they're screaming through the vents like night and day. It's almost like a coordinated effort to like fuck with him because they can't touch him, right? They are screaming through the vents, keeping him up all night, which is ridiculous because I'm like, you know, he's complaining about to the prison that he can't sleep. And I'm like, well, you know, the people you killed, they were trying to sleep too. But you came in the house and took their lives. So, you know, nobody really cares if you can't sleep, dude. Sucks to be you, you know. Put some toilet paper in your ears. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, I don't know why we would bet a wool hat, but he's definitely not appealing. He can't, so. I mean, sure, I'll take another wool hat, but he's certainly not going to be appealing anytime soon. He has nothing to appeal on. And he can't. And why would you plead guilty and then appeal it? That just doesn't even make sense to do that. It doesn't. He's totally creepy. You know, oh my God. All right, so there's a group on Facebook where people think he's innocent. And there's women, like, posting, and I don't know if they're just trolling in this group, but they're posting that they're like sending him pictures, and I'm like, dude, these people are fucking sick. This is probably the most attention this guy has ever gotten in his fucking life, okay? But ugh, he's so creepy. There was Brian Enton this morning. I don't know if you guys know Brian Enton, but we all found him, I'm sure, during the Gabby Petito case, and he finally started his own YouTube channel, which is like, it's about time, dude, because I think he's a great reporter. On his last video, I think he uploaded it yesterday. There was more information let out, and he was saying how there was all reports in there of people from his school that worked with him or did class with him and his professors, and they were all saying how creepy he was. They were saying that, so like all those reports that we heard, okay, because a lot of it was speculation, and I think that's part of the problem why there's so many people that are like still thinking something's wrong with the story, is because in the very beginning a ton of information came out, such as, right, he was putting things in the neighbor's garbage. That was never true. That never happened. Okay. Confirmed, not true. What was the other thing? There was something else that he was doing in Pennsylvania. They said that he was doing in Pennsylvania, and it came out now that it's not true. So I think the news was sensationalizing. They were getting a lot of bad information, and people took that information like it was the truth. And now they're like, wait a second, it's not true. And I think that's part of the problem. Because they're like, oh, they said something different in the beginning. Okay, well, that's usually how it goes. In the beginning of an investigation, you might think one thing, but as you get more information, you might change your opinions, you know what I'm saying? Or your theory or whatever as time goes on. Like, I was just listening to this stupid girl, Jules something, and she's like, oh, in the beginning, they thought it was a black truck. And I'm like, yeah, until they got more information. So, like, the black truck, they might have suspected the black truck at first. But then when they saw the white car and they realized, oh, the white car is connected to this person, and oh, his DNA is on the sheath, then they realized the black car is no longer connected to the crime anymore. It's now the white car who's connected. So, like, yeah, as they gain more information, they're probably going to change things, But there's stupid people in this. It's actually fucking scary how stupid people are. It really is at this point in time. I read some of the comments under this shit, and I'm just like, wow. Like, this is so scary. There's some scary fucking people. Who's horrible, Huck? The girl Jules? What's her name? Hold on. I just watched one of her videos, and I'm like, girl, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you're an idiot. You might as well. What is this? A positive new direction. Haters, sit the fuck down. All right. Oh, my God. Hold on a second. What was her name? I gotta look what her name is. I just watched one of her videos. Jules, Julez, with True Crime Reactions. I'm like, girl, really? Are you really fucking this stupid? They're picking apart all these little things, right, of the story that weren't true. Or they're like, oh, well, they said this in the beginning. They said it was the bloodiest crime scene they ever saw. And now we saw 6 pictures out of 200 pictures. And everybody's like, wait a second, there's no blood. And I didn't even look at the pictures close enough myself. You actually can see blood in the pictures. But like, what? First of all, why do you want to see? I know there's people have different opinions on this. I personally feel like I don't need to see the dead bodies. I'm good. I saw the Jodi Arias crime scene pictures, and I'm still traumatized, dude. It was fucking horrible. I don't mind the blood pictures, but I never needed to see Travis Alexander's body, naked after sitting there for 5 days in his shower. I just didn't need to see that, to get the idea of what happened. I don't mind looking at the rest of the crime scene pictures. They don't bother me. But what they showed was only 6 pictures of, like, the very outer perimeter of crime scene that you could even look at, because it's probably disgusting. And they're like, there's no blood in there. Because I think people in their heads, just like myself, was picturing like this Dexter-esque, crime scene where there's just fucking blood everywhere. But that's just not reality. That's not how it works. Okay? And they were first of all, Maddie and Kaylee were both in a bed. Okay, so I'm gonna assume that the bed soaked up most of the blood in that situation. Blankets, the bed, whatever. And their clothing, whatever. Then, downstairs, that's probably to me where most of the blood would be around the room, because she fought with him, the girl Xana, which is so sad to think of. And then Ethan clearly was sleeping. He had a blanket on him still, unless they staged him. I don't know, but, he still had a blanket on him, so he was clearly sleeping. That's not Jewels of Thought. I don't know who's Jewels of Thought. Is it the girl with the shaved head?
According to the document dates,
this girl
Pullman not only was looking for footage that might contain a suspect vehicle from the businesses in the area, but they also...
Do you recognize her voice? That's who I'm talking about. I don't know if her name was Jules of Thought at some point in time. I've watched her channel before with other cases. I'm not like a fan of hers or anything, but yeah, she clearly thinks that the Idaho case is bullshit. And then there's this other guy. Oh my God, I cannot stand this guy. Hold on, I gotta... Okay, that's a different person. All right. Oh my God, what the fuck is this guy's name? Hold on. Fuck, I can't remember this guy's name. He keeps popping up in my fucking feed all the time. He's from, like, the UK. And he's another one who's keeping this shit, you know, going like this. They disguised the blood in the pictures. The blood was there. I saw blood in some of the pictures. Actually, Gray Hughes has a great video kind of pointing out all the stuff that I totally missed in the pictures myself because I really couldn't zoom into them. So it was hard to see on my tiny, tiny phone, you know. But yeah, it was bloody. People don't realize how little it takes to bleed out. It's not like gallons and gallons. Yeah, exactly. They're like, oh, there's no blood. Like, and trust me, I was thinking the same thing because we're all used to watching these movies and shit. But like, in reality, that's just not how it goes, dude. This guy knew what he was doing. He went in while they were sleeping. He stabbed them because you know why? People are like, dude, I have seen people say this in comment sections. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? There is people who think that they weren't killed at the house now because of these pictures, right? This is because they don't see that much blood in the few pictures they released. They're like, oh, they weren't killed in the house. And I'm like, oh, so you think that 4 people were killed outside somewhere else and then brought back into the house and staged? Like, what the fuck is wrong with these people? Seriously. It's like crazy. I'm like, dude, the mental gymnastics people do to try to like explain these things is fucking mind-blowing to me. I'm like, okay, yeah, somebody dragged 4 bodies back into the house, right? And just staged them there. Because that makes sense, right? That makes total sense. Yeah. There's crazies everywhere. Oh, what was I going to open? I was just going to open... Oh, this guy. This fucking idiot. Hold on. Oh, I'm trying to think of what his fucking... Oh, here he is! Oh my God, look at this. It just popped up right on my fucking screen. First of all, his face is just so damn punchable. Don't you just want to punch him? Just, like, not even hearing him talk, I already want to punch him in the face. I'm sorry, he's such a douche. Such a douche. This probably isn't one of the videos where he's talking about... He still thinks it's a lie. He still thinks it's a lie. Let's see. Here's Duty Ron. He goes, see, look, Duty Ron showed some of the pictures, and you can see, look, hold on. Let's go on Duty Ron's page, actually, real quick.
Here, blood on
I'm sorry, the guy's face is just so punchable. Like, I'm like, dude, you just deserve to be just throat punched. But even more so, because you're fucking further traumatizing the people involved, dude. The poor girl, Dylan... You know, everybody's like, oh, you know, could you imagine this girl, what she went through that night? I feel so bad for this girl. She was fucking in the house. She saw the guy, and for some reason, her life was spared. And I can't even imagine the survivor's guilt that girl is feeling, you know, trying to, like, put this all together. I don't know. I feel like maybe some people just, like, never lived their lives. Like, I used to go out every weekend, okay, when I was that age. I was fucking out partying every single weekend. So, you know how many nights I came home fucking shit-faced drunk, you know, go to sleep. You're, like, these people were partying, dude. They were being college students. That's what you do in college. Not everybody, but a lot of people, you know, have a good time. They take advantage of it. They were having a great time that night. Okay, she wakes up in the middle of the night. You're in a house where there's people in and out of the house all night, you know, at all times. Okay, it's a party house, dude, and you're not knowing what you're seeing. She obviously knew something wasn't right, but again, who in their mind would be like, oh, there's somebody in here killing all 4 of my roommates? Like, it's easy to think it now because we know what happened, but you got to put yourself in that girl's place that night. Okay, and think of all the things. You're in a party house. There's, you know, people in and out all the time. You got 3 very, very, very pretty girls living there. I'm sorry, more than 3. You have, you know, all the girls. Every single girl in the that house was pretty. Okay, so, you know, chances are there's gonna be guys in and out of the house. If they were anything like I wasn't fucking that age, you know, like you're with different guys hanging out, like. I mean, do people forget that part of their lives or something? Because I remember my 20s, you know, my late teens and my early 20s very vividly. And I was a partier, so I wasn't in a fraternity or sorority or anything, but like I didn't go away to college, but like I was a partier, you know. I was out all the time. Every weekend I was out having fun. So, I mean, you know, I just try to put myself in that situation. Like, that's like the last fucking thing that you think is going to be happening in your fucking house. Obviously, she felt something was off, but then you have the other girl downstairs who's kind of like talking her out of it. Like, you know, you're just drunk. And especially because apparently she was kind of known to be like a skittish type of person who was just scared. I mean, dude, it's your first year away from your parents, right? Your whole life you grow up, you know, your parents are there, you're living on your own, you don't really fully know the people that you're living with, okay? So you don't want to be that person that's fucking dialing 911 in the middle of the night and then it ends up being nothing. And to be honest, I don't think her dialing 911 would have helped at all in this situation. I think this guy knew exactly where to fucking hit these people. Because if you read the documents or you listen to people reading them, it was a lot of arterial spray, meaning that he knew where to hit these people, okay? You hit somebody in an artery, and it's a matter of seconds before they fucking die, or minutes. So I really don't think there would have been anything they could have done to save any of the people in this situation, even if she called 911 that very second. So, but, you know, she's not thinking. And then you got all these crazy people that are saying she's in on it, or she was part of it somehow. And, I mean, I understand how they could say that, but at the same time, you know, try to put yourself back to being that age and being kind of naive about things like this. Like, would I think that this is happening? Probably, because I'm paranoid and I watch a lot of true crime, but not everybody does that, you know? My brother, he's not like, I'm just thinking of people randomly off the top of my head. He doesn't watch true crime shows. Like, he would never think something like this is happening, you know? Just different people in my life that I know that don't pay attention to this kind of shit, they would never think that this is something that was happening, especially at 19 years old. You know, I think at the very least she thought somebody was pranking them or, you know, something like that. Maybe a burglar, maybe they stole something, but I don't think she thought that her roommates were being slaughtered. Anyway, let's go through these pictures. Hold on. I'm just gonna duty Ron show us some of them. So this is looking into, what the fuck? Every time I try to stop. Hey, as much as I love Ed Wallace, I'm trying to look at the picture here. Alright, so this is in Xana's room. Looking into... I'm sorry, is this Maddie's room? It is, because that's the shoes that she was wearing. So we can't see the blood, dude. The room's small, but I'm sure everything happened over here. There was blood on the door. And you could see, you can't really see great in this picture, but there's some blood, but most blood probably over the side of the room that we can't see. Okay? So, I mean, is it kind of hard to believe that he didn't track blood through the house? I guess, but hold on. I thought he showed more pictures. What is this? Oh. This is, what the heck is this? I thought this was the one I watched the other night. I guess it's not. So I'll have to go back and watch this one. Oh, okay. This is Maddie's bed. Now, when I first saw this picture, I mean, it was so small on my phone. I'm like, I don't see any blood. Then I realized that this thing's covered in blood. There's a whole puddle right here. I don't know what this little dark area is. That might be a carpet. There's blood all over this blanket. Not too much. And then I don't know what's under here. We can't see it, but there could be blood. At first, when I was looking at this, I was so confused because I'm like, wait a second. Is this one Maddie's room or Xana's room? I'm getting confused. I'm sorry. This is Xana's room. This is Xana's room. That's Ethan's sweatshirt right there. And so back here, you can see there's 2 little spots of blood. So I'm assuming this is where his head was because the pillows are over here. Obviously, this has to have been taken after the fact because the body obviously isn't in the bed anymore. The kid, Ethan, was like, what, almost 6 feet tall. So clearly this is an after photo, but this is Xana's room, and you see blood everywhere, dude. I mean, they're not showing you the full thing, but I'm sure this area back here is soaked in blood. When I first saw this picture, I thought it was Maddie's room because I saw the pink blanket, and I remembered that from the document, but this is actually Xana's room. That's Ethan's sweatshirt that he must have taken off right before he went to bed. And there's blood all down here. There's blood all over here. There's blood right here. You can't see it because the NBC logo is kind of covering it up. It's all over. It's over here. It's over here. And there's tons on the blanket, but it looks like they kind of moved the blankets out of the way. And then whatever's under here obviously is covered in blood because they blurred it out. We can't really see it, so. All right, then moving on. This is just droplets from the knife on the floor. I mean, they're showing us the very bare minimum here. Some on the door, the light switch. Hold on a second. There's blood right there on the door. Okay. Hold on. And it's not as much as we probably expected because this was described as the bloodiest, crime scene ever. I don't know what this is. I don't know if they ever looked at this, but to me it looks like somebody tried opening the window or something. I don't know. It just, I don't think it's related in any way to this, but the handprints just look way too small to be Brian Koberger's. I mean, if you look at the siding, most of the pieces of siding are about 4 inches, I'm gonna say, right? From top to bottom, 4 to 5 inches. Look how small the handprint is in comparison. That's a girl. That's a little, little tiny handprint of a girl that's probably about 19 years old. That's about 5-inch handprint. A man's handprint would be way bigger than that. Obviously they had to photograph it, I mean, because it is kind of weird. And then I didn't even notice that if you keep going, hold on, I didn't notice this when I looked at it. All right, the door's open. I'm like, okay, big deal, the door's open. But I didn't realize you could see his footprints going in and out. So you see these coming this way into the house, which I'm so surprised he did. I'm very surprised he walked in snow. You know what I'm saying? So I'm wondering if the shoes he wore were shoes that he didn't typically wear. I would really love to know what kind of shoes they think these are, if there's even like a print in there anymore. But so you can see his footprints going out and going back in. But I'm like, dude, he had I understand why some people are having trouble with this, because like Gray Hughes, I think he has a whole video where he does this like drive through the neighborhood, and he shows him circling and then stopping the car, parking. This happened within like, I thought he said 6 minutes. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, could you really do that in 6 minutes? But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, I guess you can. Because how long does it really take to go upstairs? People are sleeping, okay? You stab them a bunch of times, then run downstairs, okay? And fight Xana. How long could that take? He stabs her a bunch of times, then he stabs Ethan. I don't know what order he did it in. But I'm like, I guess, he could have done it in that amount of time. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I don't know. I've never done anything like this, so I don't know how long it takes. But, oh my God, so sad, to see the footprints in and out. But like, oh, he had to obviously have climbed a fence if he parked his car back here, which is just more time consuming, I'm thinking in my head, unless he like, I don't know. That's a pretty tall fence, it looks like. I don't know. He must have practiced or something, dude, because, I mean, to get in and out of there that quickly, this guy knew what he was doing. Obviously. Okay? He was definitely studying this house and the scene, and I do think he was stalking them from, driving around the neighborhood. Like those people in high school that just, like, hate the popular people? Like, I had a friend like that. Like, she never got to know them, but, like, just did not like the people that were popular because they were popular and she wasn't, Like, and I feel like there's just people like that, where they hate people that are fucking happy, that they're fucking, you know, popular, well-known, whatever. People that play sports, they might hate, you know, they might target people that play sports. Like, I think he honestly probably just knew he wanted to commit a murder, okay? And then he's like, well, he didn't want to do it on his own campus. So, you know, where do you go? You go to the next college town over. There's a bunch of, you know, everybody knows if you go to college, you know where Greek Row is. You know where the sorority houses are and everything like that. So he probably just drove into the area looking for Greek Row, right? Looking for those types of houses, and just happened to spot this one. And maybe he saw people outside, you know, girls, a bunch of girls outside, and maybe he thought it was a sorority house or something. You know, he studied Bundy, right? And what was that other guy? Roland something? I forget. So he was studying, obviously, similar crimes, okay? So I think that he wanted to emulate a crime like that, but do it better in his head. I think he thought if he didn't leave that fucking knife sheath around there, that was his one mistake. I think he would have gotten away with it. I don't know if they would have caught him, honestly. If they would have, they probably would have had no case against him. I think the knife sheath is the most damning piece of evidence. It's like his... Bro, explain, you know, how your knife sheath got there. They found your Amazon, you know, purchase. You bought the knife that matches the knife sheath, you know, the knife sheath on Amazon, okay? And then you leave the knife, you know, how did it get there? How did it get in this crime scene? And then after the crime, you go looking for another Amazon knife, a K-bar knife, to replace it. Come on, dude, you know? Come on. I think he was fully covered in like tactical gear. This way he didn't get hurt. I think he had gloves on. They make gloves that like for chefs that if you cut, it doesn't cut through. Yeah, Danny Rollins, that was it. University of Florida, right? If you cut the glove, you don't get, you know, it doesn't cut your hand. So I think he came dressed, you know, to do this. I mean, people did say at the college that there was injuries, but I don't know. I think this is a picture of the DoorDash delivery, but you can't really see it for some reason. And then we got the back door again. And then I guess that's it on this video. But, you know, the few pictures that they showed don't show anything. They're not going to release a bunch of gory crime scene photos, which I don't know why, because they have in past cases. I don't know what makes this case any different. It's part of public record. They should release it in a sense. I do think with the bodies blurred out, though, because why do you need to see the, you know, why do you need to see it? This guy is the guy I'm talking about. Harsh reality. He's a fucking douche. I mean, he just keeps, look, the Idaho 4 case evidence is a joke. Idaho 4. Most of the time, he hashtags it Idaho. Is that him or is that somebody else? It might be another one of these idiots. But it's like, dude, just admit you're fucking wrong, okay? Look, where's the blood? Let's see what he has to say here. This guy's such an idiot. He's just like that clown.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this marvelous, marvelous Monday. I'm back.
I'm sorry. I just want to punch him right in those glasses. The rebound.
I'm back. I had a 2-day sabbatical. Needed to have a little...
A date night sabbatical. Trigger warning. This video shows blood. What? Not as much as you think, but it shows some. Fucking asshole.
bit of a break. But in my break, I did...
Did you guys hear him?
I did see that things...
This is exactly why I hate Ray-Ban glasses, because why is this area so thick? I don't know.
were moving and some images came out, some pictures. You're looking absolutely amazing, I must add, for this Monday morning. I hope you have a fantastic week. But yeah, so these images came out that would depict the crime scene that we've all been told about.
I just don't understand. Yeah, this guy's such a douche. The circus clown's a fucking asshole too. Fuck him. But I'm like, how do these people get so... I don't know. I'm not from... I don't know. It's so weird how, like, so many people from around the world get this like interested in true crime cases here in the US. I find it fascinating, honestly.
Over the last 2.5 years, or do they depict the crime scene that we have been told about over the last 2.5 years? And
See, now this is a guy that can't fucking understand that a lot of the things you heard on the quote news, okay, the news is sensationalized, is coming from sources that, you know, aren't really. When I heard about this case and I heard how strict the gag orders were, a lot of the information that was coming out, I really personally didn't believe a lot of it, because I was like, there's a really strict gag order in place. And so most of the people that are directly involved in the case aren't going to be putting this information out. And so at that point in time, it becomes a game of telephone, where it's like, you know, this person told me that this person told me that this person told me that it was horrible. Mind you, I believe it was the medical examiner said it was one of the bloodiest crime scenes she had ever seen. Okay, she might not have seen anything as bloody as this. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean it's the bloodiest crime scene ever. It just means that in her experience, in her, you know, time as a medical examiner, this scene was the worst one that she saw. I mean, dude, when there's blood literally leaking out of the fucking house, I would say that's pretty bad, you know? It leaked through the fucking walls. Think of how saturated that wall had to be for it to come down through the fucking, what do you call it? Siding, okay? Like, do you understand what's under your wall? You have sheetrock, then you have your insulation, and then you have another layer of, particle board, right, on the outside, and then you have a layer of insulation, foam board. Most houses, you know, newer houses, I don't know how you know old that house was, but it looks like it was probably sided in the last 20 or 30 years. So there would be another layer of foam board insulation, and then the siding goes on top of that, and there might be wrap. I'm sorry, there's probably like some type of plastic sheeting too that goes in between. So you have like 5 layers that blood just leaked through, which is crazy, down the foundation.
Before we take a look at the photos, let's just touch on some pointers. So when we look at the pictures, we can ascertain whether they are a true representation of what we've been told. Now, first of all, we'll get this one out.
Can I ask why you have a birthday cake on your table in the background? It's not your birthday, is it?
Why? The room splitter. And that is that this was not a D-Rug house. There was no such thing. That's what some people have said. These kids didn't do that. Oh, you're stupid if you think.
Okay, there's a difference between a drug house, right? Where, like, people fucking actually go there to purchase drugs, right? And, like, one of those houses, you know which house. Everybody had that house in their neighborhood, I'm sure, growing up. The house you go to where there's, like, 20 cars parked outside. And that's where everybody's in and out all day long to get the drugs, dude, because that's where they're sold. That's a drug house to me, okay? A house where there's people who live there who are partying and might occasionally indulge in some fucking coke or some shit or whatever, snorting Adderalls, right? There were some people saying that Xana and Ethan took Adderall that night, which they didn't find any drugs, as far as I know, in any of their systems. But okay, that's not a drug house. That's a house where people, you know, might occasionally use drugs in the house, but they're not a drug house. Idiot.
Think that. What you're talking about? Well, there are pictures that would potentially tell us that that's just not the case, and this is potentially just a normal student house where they dabble.
There was literally a picture of a blue of a fucking rolled up dollar bill in Xana's room. I mean, just because the dollar bill's rolled up, it doesn't mean it was used for drugs. Just saying.
In the devil's dandruff. But we have also been told that this was a gruesome crime scene, potentially one of the worst scenes that's ever been seen, that would bring even the most hardy people to tears. We saw the after effect, the ramifications of what
this guy's eyes just creep me out.
Bill Thompson had seen as he broke down in tears during the sentencing here, and yes, do these pictures depict what we have been told. So we have a look. Let's have a look together.
Let's look.
Because what I will say is trigger warning, because there is some red stuff, and I know that some people are ultra sensitive to certain things, and I don't want anybody breaking down in tears or throwing up over their computer or whatever they watch. Phone,
What the fuck are you talking about, dude? Shut up.
perhaps. So this is a stairway. And what do we learn from the stairway? Well, we learn that this was indeed a party house.
Indeed. It's like
It was
nobody was debating that, dude.
a shithole. An absolute shithole. Typical.
Actually, the house looked pretty nice to me, to be honest with you, for a fucking college house. Some of the pictures I saw, I was like kind of shocked. I was like, oh, it's like, to me, that does not look like a typical college house. Like, it looked nicely, decorated and shit. Yeah, of course it was messy. It's a fucking college house, dude. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Teens party house that doesn't seemingly get cleaned after a party, because we would sort of believe that there wasn't a party on this particular day. So this would have been from potentially a party the day before or whatever, but it was seemingly not the cleanest house. But this is a stairway.
All right, dude, there's like 2 cans and a fucking drink and like whatever that thing is.
Just stairs. So we move on through the photo.
Right, just stairs, because they're not showing you the fucking, bodies. Dude.
Photographs.
I know you want to see them because you're probably a sick fuck, but you don't need to.
Which the next photograph we come to is this one here. If we can.
I was in Michael's, I think it was like 2 days ago, and this girl was literally looked exactly like Maddie. It was like so weird. She stood right in front of me. I almost bumped into her and her boyfriend, right, when I was getting online. And she turned around and she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. She was so cute, She looked like Maddie, like her face, but she had like blonde, like curly hair. And I just looked at her, and she's probably around the same age, the girl. She was probably around like, 18 or 19 years old, or 20 at the most, And I'm just looking at her and I'm like, man, you look back and you're like, you don't remember how like, when you're in college, you feel like you're such an adult, like, oh, I'm finally an adult. But when you're 44, right, and you look back at somebody that age and you look at how small they are and how young they look compared to yourself, right, you're like, holy shit, man, like, like they're just babies. I'm looking at this little girl in the store the other day, and I was like, her face looked like her. I was like, holy shit, that's kind of scary. I'm like, she has a very similar look to her. And I'm like, I was like, well, how could you do this to this poor little girl? Like a little girl like that, like she's in, she's just in Michael's with her boyfriend, who knows what they were doing. And I'm like, oh man, I'm like, she's so young, like they're kids, dude. Even though they're technically adults, they're still kids. They're little kids at that age. Like, I'm looking at her and I'm like, you look so young. Like, it's so sad, man. It's so sad.
Get this to jump forward in time. For some reason, it doesn't want to move.
But I'm just looking at this skinny little blonde-headed girl, and she was so sweet. And I'm like, you didn't even know these people. Like, you killed these girls. You didn't even know them. You don't know how they would have treated you. You don't know, you didn't even know them. They're probably really sweet people, nice girls, and you didn't even get the chance to know them.
So we play it. What's it?
University of Idaho students were
There
killed.
we go. We'll jump forward. I don't know what that was trying to do.
Oh, he has a whole conspiracy about this room, which I think was Dylan's room.
So that takes us to this bedroom here. Doesn't seem like a lot happened here. I would say this is potentially Dylan's bedroom, which
you need
would
to be sped up.
explain the lack of red stuff.
Yeah.
Not much happening in here. Just a normal room.
It looks like it to me.
Not much to see here at all. So we will swiftly move on to the next one. I don't know why that doesn't want to skip forward. We'll have to
2022. The house frozen
This
into
here, this is the next room, which is where the table.
All right, does this look like a total shithole? Yeah, okay, they left a table with beer pong up. All right, but the rest of the house doesn't look horrible.
Was with the cups that were supposedly heard when they fell. I'll tell you something. If you can hear these cups fall on this table, then you're going to hear everything else that was happening in this house.
Oh my God.
If you don't agree, let me know down below.
I don't agree, because if Dylan's room is like right around here and the cups are closer to her than like somebody upstairs. I have a similar house to this house where there's a lot of levels in my house, okay? When I'm downstairs in my bottom level, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 levels in my house, okay? So when I'm downstairs in my bottom level of my house, I don't say 4 floors because it's not like full floors. It's different levels. There's 2 rooms on one, 2 rooms on another, and then 1 and 1. So if I go downstairs in my bottom level of my house, I can't hear what my son is doing upstairs. I can barely hear him. But if I'm on the second level, I could hear my son every move. You know, it's like a freaking elephant running around. He's on the top level, okay? So, I mean, I can't hear, though, downstairs. Like, it's weird. Once I go into the bottom floor, it's very hard to hear what's going on up on the top floor. I could hear the third floor because the floor is right above it. But his room's, like, so disconnected. You have to go up another flight of steps to get to his room. So, it's a weirdly laid out house. And I feel like this house is kind of similar to the way my house is laid out, with all the different staircases all over the place. So, I mean, it's possible that she heard noise, you know what I'm saying? But couldn't clearly hear it.
A lot of lights as well. And I would imagine that these lights were on all the time. I don't think that these were the sort of if they can't even clear up after themselves, the chances are that these lights are left on pretty much all the time. I don't think that officers came in here and...
Dude, they're LED lights. Like, who cares? They're, like, barely taking any electricity, and they're not going to burn your house down. So.
Thought, let's change the vibe. Let's change the vibe. It's a little bit gruesome in here. Maybe if we put some pretty lights on it, will change the tone. So these lights would have been on, which would have emitted quite a light. And we also hear from Molly, who would sort of say that the lights were also on in the window. So she would see someone bobbing and weaving in the window, which would suggest to me, I don't know about
who the fuck is Molly?
You, but it would suggest to me that this house perhaps wasn't as dark as we would be led to believe, which again raises questions, because if you're then seeing someone, because I always spoke about continuity of light between Dylan Mortensen opening her door, unless there was a continuous solid effect between the two areas.
Okay, but if the lights were on in this room, and let's just say the lights were off in the kitchen, and there's no light coming through the windows, the kitchen could have been dark, and this room having all these lights on would not have really affected that. Like, does this guy understand that light doesn't bend, or does he not understand that? Okay.
Areas, then whoever was leaving this property, they would see the differential between the light being cast from the open door of the room and the hallway. And there isn't also a lot of room here. Well, this is something that you learn, and we'll touch...
How does he know her light was on in her room, though?
Touch on this later on in the video, because what we do know is that this house was knocked down, wasn't it? And maybe it was knocked down for an actual purpose now, which is seemingly becoming clearer and clearer as we move through. But yes, let's move on to
signs
the
of a
next
party.
one here.
Dishes.
A little bit of a shithole
In
once
a
again.
sink. These newly released crimes.
Cups everywhere. Just
some high noons.
Again, look, this is a student house, so I don't see anything out of the ordinary here. It's just it is what it is. It's a party house, and there is remnants of parties.
Blurred by police.
Clearly. Now he's like, oh, I don't see any blood. Now I wonder why that is. Maybe because your fucking picture is blocking out most of it. But there's blood here. There's blood here. There's blood all over this nightstand, all over this wall. There's blood, dude.
This room here is obviously one of the rooms that would, I believe.
That would, yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I would believe that this is Xana's room. I do not think that this is the room that Kaylee and Maddie were in. Again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that this is indeed Xana's room. The only thing that throws me off here is where they said, obviously Ethan was found. He was found with his head almost down the back of the bed. So that would be problematic if this was indeed Xana's room, because it doesn't then give a representation of what we was told. But look,
I used to have a very similar bed to this, and like it probably doesn't look it in this picture, but I used to wake up with my fucking head like stuck in the gap between my mattress and the wall because I had a radiator next to my bed, so on the floor, so my bed was like, there was a pretty big gap where my head used to always like kind of lay between the wall.
That's what I think, but I could
If this is an interior wall, it probably doesn't have a radiator on it, but there still could be a pretty, gap between the bed.
be wrong, and this could indeed be.
Everybody takes everything so fucking literal. That's the problem. He's like, oh, his head was between the bed and the wall, but like it could have been just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? But he's picturing the whole head.
The room that Kaylee and Maddie was in. Again, let me know down in the comments, because it would offer a bit more of a representation of what happened in there if that was their room. You've obviously got some blurrage in the middle here.
Blurrage.
You have got some cast off here.
Oh, I didn't even realize this, but right here, I just noticed this. Right here, you guys probably can't see it because it's probably too small, but it looks like there's a black pillow, and I could see red all over this right here. If you follow this, I couldn't see it on my phone. I couldn't see any of this blood on my phone, dude. It was so small. When I first looked at the pictures, I'm like, where is the blood? I had no idea what I was looking at here because I thought this was Kaylee's room. And I was like so confused. But right here, dude, there is a tremendous, fucking thing of blood. I could see it even on a black pillowcase. You could see the red right there.
But when we went over the injuries,
oh my god, Summer Darkness, yes, I'm the armchair detective's younger brother.
How many injuries had been sustained?
Maybe it's his son. We don't know.
The just the sheer ferocity.
I'm just saying, if Ethan was fucking awake and had his wits about him, that's a big boy right there. He would have fucked Brian Kohlberger up, dude. He would have fucked that guy up, I think, fully.
Of the attack.
Yes, he is to this case what Armchair was to the Watts case.
Yeah, it's an odd one because, again, dependent on the room, you've got to think that this happened in two rooms, and the question is does this room offer an honest representation of what we've been told?
Yeah, it actually does.
If you factor in
clearly most of the blood from Ethan's head, which was very obviously on this pillow because I can now see it, leaked. Probably his head was probably over in this area, and it probably leaked down and went out the wall, because if you look on the exterior wall, oh, this is an exterior wall of the house, that's right. Wait, I thought the doorway was here. I don't know, I'm getting confused now, but if you look down, his blood was coming out. Well, one of these walls has to be an exterior wall, whether it's this one or this one. And I see so much blood right here. I didn't see it before, but now I could tell there's a huge, just circle of it on the pillow right there.
What would have been the injury
so sad.
Sustained in both of these rooms. I genuinely don't think that whoever's room this is, it offers a genuine representation of the injuries that would have been sustained by the people on the bed, because this would have been where Ethan was, and for the aforementioned reasons, this is almost like this would block him from being able for his head to have been where they said it was.
What?
So again,
block him? How would it block him?
You know, down below, I'm not committing to this being anyone in particular's room. It's the pink blanket that throws me, because I thought that they mentioned a pink blanket in Xana's room, but I could be.
There's tons of pictures of Xana in front with the blue blanket right there and this blanket. And it seems to me that she's the only one in the house that didn't have a twin size bed, because the rest of the beds look twin. This looks like more like a full to me. Do they have to bring their own beds when they move into these houses? I guess so, right? Or the bed's already there. Like, I have no idea how this works, because obviously I didn't go away to college, so I never lived in a house like this. My friend, my best friend went away to college, but she had her own apartment, so the first year she had roommates, and I don't think I ever visited her that first year, because I don't think I had, well, I was going to school too, so I think I started visiting her in our second year of college, so no, I think I did go visit her the first year. But I don't remember staying. No, I went the second year. She had her own apartment the second year, and then she moved into her third apartment there. But I didn't go when she had the roommates, because I had nowhere to stay, So
be wrong.
Plus, I was.
And again, when I factor in what I've been told, you've got pillows leaning up there. Again, I'm just thinking about the injury sustained. If this bed was where Kaylee and Maddie were, and you think about the injuries that they sustained, is that representative of that?
Is that
I don't understand why they've blurred out the middle section so much, because
I
even
didn't
with
either.
the blur there,
I didn't either, but now I understand, because I see right here a tremendous amount of a huge blood stain right there. I mean, it's bad. And then here, I don't know what's going on, because obviously from the blur, it looks like there's nothing, but clearly there's something there that they blurred out. What it is, I don't know, but
it doesn't seem to be
yeah, why can't they both have pink blankets? I don't know.
Seeing through there doesn't seem to be a massive amount that you can see through it. But let's move on.
Oh, Huck, remember you showed me the picture the other day of that yellow thing? Look, I think it's right here. I didn't even notice that. We were trying to figure out what the yellow thing was. I think it's just like a sweatshirt or something. And then, look, down here, you can see the little yellow stuffed animal giraffe thing. I think that's it.
Totally move on.
Both a typical college life and
This just makes me so fucking sad, this picture. Because, like, obviously, she came home, she was tired, she just, like, took her shoes off. You know what I'm saying? Like, just left her pants laying there, and it's just so sad. Oh,
the horrifying sign.
There's tiny little specks here. Whether that is some degree of cast off, we also see it here.
It's not cast off, you fucking idiot. See, you clearly don't know what you're talking about. That's not cast off. That's blood that dripped bloop straight down off the knife. Straight down to the ground. There's no cast off. If it was cast off, it would be like a stretched droplet looking. It wouldn't be a little round circle. You fucking idiot. Sorry. I just had to let him know how fucking stupid he was. This wasn't Greek Row. College owned it. It was privately owned. So yes, they had to bring their own furniture. No, I know it wasn't. They weren't Greek Row, but they were right near it, the Greek Row. So I think that somebody went over there looking, you know what I'm saying, for Greek Row, and just spotted this house of all those. This house, like, oddly stood out in that area. And, like, if you look at the pictures, that house was like a sitting duck, the way it was in the neighborhood. I don't know. It's just like kind of like in the middle, and you could kind of see it from everywhere. It kind of like stood out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't really blend in with the rest of the houses over there. It kind of like stood out on its own in a weird way. I feel like because it was maybe higher up than the other houses. Very weird. I always wonder this when I go to, like, other places, because, like, here, obviously, on Long Island, we're very limited on space, right? I live on an island. So a lot of the streets and shit don't make sense sometimes, although most of it's, like, pretty much a grid. Not as much as Manhattan, but I'm just saying, like, the streets are very compacted, right? Where the houses are very close together. Like, the closer you get to the city, the closer the houses are together. When you start coming out towards, Suffolk County, and then the further out east you go, the more spacious it is. So, like, if you're looking for property, you're going to move out east somewhere. Not to say that there's not houses with property closer to the city, but most of the houses are very, very tightly packed. Like, if you go to Nassau County, if you go out from Manhattan, it goes Brooklyn, right? Then Queens, Nassau, and then Suffolk, where I live. Suffolk's pretty much half the island, if you look at the map. But when you go, like, Queens and Brooklyn, there's no grass, okay? there's no yards. Once you start getting towards Nassau County and Queens, there becomes, like, houses that are close together that might have, like, this tiny little front yard and a tiny little backyard, like my sister had. She lived in Queens. And then when you go into Nassau County, depending on where you are, there's, the houses are very compacted, like very close together. The yards are smaller. And then once you get out to Suffolk, it starts getting more spacious. And it's so weird to me when I look at little towns like this Idaho town, because I'm like, there's so much room to build, right? Why are these houses, like, crammed in next to each other? It's just so odd to me. I'm like, I don't get it. Why would they put these fucking houses right on top of each other? Like, the way that they're built here, because I'm like, they have so much room. They have so much space. They can build anywhere. I don't get it. But I feel like it's like that even, like, I go down to, like, other states, and I'm like, why are the houses so close together in this space? Like, when they could spread them out further. I don't know. I guess it's just the developers and how much land. I don't know. It's just odd to me. But the way that this little town is situated is so strange. Like, the layout, the way that the houses are just kind of like, It almost, well, my cousin's house almost like that. It's like almost looks like the other one house is on top of the other person's front lawn. It's so weird.
But we listen again, when you factor in the injuries, we heard about subclavian artery being sliced, severed.
You can't FOIA anything. You have to wait for it to be released. You could easily FOIA whatever term your records like that in the U.S. as an individual. You mean in the U.K.?
Ethan Chapin had
I see what you're saying. Never mind.
Tendons on his legs severed. So yeah, it's an odd one. But and I think that these were these Maddie's boots. Was that what she was wearing?
They were.
Again, let me know. Let me know.
Struggle.
Down below.
You're a great detective.
From when Brian Koberger killed Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonzalez, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Here, blood
Again,
on the floor,
small
on a
amounts of
door,
cast
and on
off.
bed sheets.
This
Look at this. Get your fucking picture out of the way, you douche. Look at all the blood right there on the pillow, dude. He's like, oh, very small amounts of blood. My picture just happens to be over every single time they show the blood, the actual blood. There's a lot of farmland, at least in my area. Yeah, it's just so weird. Like, I don't know. I would picture like that specific little area. I'm like, why are the houses like this? It's like there's apartment houses. Maybe because it's a college town. Oh, Jules, he's such an idiot, this guy.
This is a more hectic one here, which this to me...
This image showing
Probably
two
the worst one
handprints
there.
on the window. And this one, the open glass door, believed to be where Koberger entered the home.
Are you pleading guilty?
Because
you are guilty.
We'll come back to that in a second.
There's your hero. There's your hero. So look, this little rolled up dollar bill, which like I've done that before. I've rolled up a dollar bill just fucking around. Like I never snorted anything up my nose ever in my entire life. I mean, like, dude, that doesn't mean that, you know, they were doing drugs. I mean, she might have just, like, rolled the dollar bill up, like, for some other reason. She could have been joking around. Like, people have done that, too.
The photo is part of a trove of
This here, well, what can we say? What can we say from this photograph here? You know,
And they
obviously,
go, oh my God, she was it's such a college girl trying to party.
we've got this down here.
Oh, there's fucking blood on the Coors Light thing, too. I didn't even see that. And over here, there's a spot on this, like, white... It looks like a tag, maybe, for a shirt. Oh, my God. And then there's a ton right there. I didn't even see it. Dude, it's so hard to see these pictures on your phone. And then there's probably tons of blood up here. Because even though it's blurred right here, I see it. But they also blurred out... I noticed in some of the pictures, they blurred out, like, if there was other, you know, people in the photographs, they blurred out the people. So it looks like, to me, there's, like, maybe some type of... shelving unit or something here, maybe where her TV is or something, and there's pictures. But there's tons of blood right here, and then there's like a brown paper bag crinkled up right here, and it's just saturated with blood on the top.
An odd one where that is located.
Well, is that so odd to you? I mean, Xana fought for her life, so she probably got blood a lot of places.
That to me is almost like someone has moved that. Because that looks like potentially someone
He could have kicked it. I mean,
moved this down here.
maybe during the struggle.
And if you look above where that seat is, that's almost where someone put that bag down there. They had the red stuff on them and caught the box as they placed this bag down.
What? What? Dude, where did this guy come to this conclusion from? He's like, oh, the bag and the box, and yeah, and it makes sense, right? No, dude, nothing you're fucking saying right now makes a lick of sense, okay? It looks, I mean, could it have potentially gotten kicked over? Absolutely, but to me, it looks like Brian Koberger and Xana were in a huge struggle, okay? She was the only one awake, and he had to fight her. And that girl fought for her life, which is so sad to think, because she's like a tiny little thing. And, oh my God, why did this have to happen?
That's how it looks to me. They're obviously blurring something out over here.
I see a little, to me, this looks like it might be like a Taco Bell bag or something, because I see like a little purple thing. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know if it is, but, oh my God.
They've blurred something out here, which almost to me looks like another card. Whether they've blurred it because it's got someone's name on it that is visible, that would make sense to me, but that does look like a second card. But when we have cards and what appears to be a rolled up bill here, and I know that in the documentation there was some mention of some blue powder potentially, but look, this is what it is. I don't think we have to go too much into that. You don't have to be a rocket.
They said she snorted Adderall. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I believe she got Jack in the Box from DoorDash, I think.
Scientist to understand that was very likely happening here.
This guy and the crazy clown guy, I know. No, the clown guy is the worst. He's the worst.
We shall continue.
To be honest, this guy, he plays this little game where he tries to act like, you know, he like kind of, he tries to play both sides of the fence a little bit, this guy. So he knows to like cover his ass a little bit, you know. It's interesting. Holy shit, I just realized I have this exact thing right here. You see this white laundry basket thing? It's literally sitting right behind me. I have the same exact one. That's so weird.
Investigators can now make public after Koberger pled guilty.
Clearer view there, look.
I only noticed because I'm like, I hate the big holes in it. Like, that's so weird.
What's that, like a $2 bill, perhaps? Again, there's quite a lot of dark there, the blur, but it does look potentially like another card, whether it's some form of receptacle.
Who fucking cares?
For whatever entered in this end and came out that end. After spending a bit of time on the edge here, I do not know, but perhaps we'll
Who cares?
never know what was under there.
I don't care that any of these kids were doing drugs. Welcome to college. Like, come on.
Murders last month.
But again, we're not.
Police also releasing the security footage from a neighbor's home where at 4:20 a.m. you can hear a dog barking, followed by a car believed to be Koberger's speeding away.
All right, it looks like he's going fast. I have it sped up at like 1.5, so it looks like extremely fast right there.
ABC News is not airing.
I thought that this, I'm so stupid. I thought that security footage was pointing at the Moscow house. I thought this was a house at first, but then I realized, oh, it's not. Well, I only realized because Gray Hughes' video. I was like, I really have so much trouble picturing this little area because it's really confusing, dude, the way the houses are set up. So the Moscow house is behind this house that's filming. So this isn't it. I thought it was at first, but it's not. So he's coming from, I don't even know where, whatever road this is. It's so confusing. I wish Gray Hughes would do a video of him driving around with the map in the corner. I don't want to suggest it to him because he gets a little crazy.
A dog barking, followed by a car
He'll be like, watch my other video.
be Koberger's speeding away.
Rip your head off.
NBC News is not airing all the images released by police, in part out of respect for the family.
So there are other images.
Look at how
they have
cute
basically
he
said that.
was. As a mom, as a mother of a boy, I don't know. When I look at him, it just like kills me. He looks like, you know, the boys that I see down at the hockey rink. Like, it's just, it's so heartbreaking. Just why?
There's other images. They're not releasing all of them, but we have got a bit of a insight into what was inside that house. And what I will say is, look, from what I can see, the pictures are not a true representation of what we have been told.
This guy's got the worst tattoos I've ever seen.
That is my opinion. I've seen multiple crime scene photographs throughout the duration of this last 2.5 years. Many people, both from law enforcement and different areas of life, have sent me photographs. I've also seen them from many other crime cases that I've looked at over the years. And I've seen a lot that were lesser crimes that generated a lot more of the red stuff. Again, I'm just trying to figure out what is going on here. What is actually going on in these photographs? Because
what's going on is that you're seeing the very, very little bit of what happened, dude.
it doesn't seem, again, it's just about
I don't know what is Icon. His hats are like, I swear to God, some of the worst hats. You know who he reminds me of? Fuck. You know the guy, I can't remember his damn name. Oh, was it Corey? Do you guys remember Teen Mom, the girl that had the twins with the blonde curly hair, and her baby daddy Corey? He wore like the same fucking hat all the time, and the brim was like so curled in. That's what he reminds me of. He always wears like the weirdest hats, this guy.
Representation is another thing that makes you question things. And when you consider that the house was torn down, not only torn down but buried, it does make
Leah, that was it. Dude, there was over 200 pictures. Like, you're only seeing the very few of them.
you wonder why. The skeptic in me
This guy's
is making me ask questions about why it would have been knocked down. And
see how he like the clown guy, he just like straight out like is conspiracy. He tries to act like, oh, I'm just pondering, you know, I'm just pondering these things. But it's like, dude, I saw many of your videos before Brian Koberger pled guilty, and you are a full-on fucking pro-burger, okay? Stop acting like you're wondering.
I come to 3 reasons, I suppose.
And he refused to apologize. When he like pled guilty, he's like, I am not apologizing.
And that is to stop people, if they were to gain access to this and look in here to see things that would raise questions with respect of the perpetrator enters this house and was the house dark? Would they have been able to maneuver around this house in the dark without having issues?
Clearly the house wasn't fully dark, but like my house at night, I have 2 lights on downstairs, right, that are like these wall sconces that I keep on all the time, and those give off light, but it's still dark in the room. I have like a very low wattage, whatever you want to call it, bulb in there, so it's still pretty dark in the room. I would consider it dark. And then, you know, every other light in my house is pretty much off. Like, what does it matter if there was like a few little lights on? This guy put out doctor photo of a picture taken outside through the kitchen, and someone added blood everywhere, dripping off the cards. He took it down right away. Are you serious? What a loser. So he doesn't... I know, Jules, it's horrible. It's terrible. Gray went there and drove around. When he got out of the car, someone told him to get off private property, rightfully so. I know, well, he was driving around at like 5 in the morning, and I was like, oh my God, I wonder what the people were thinking that live around there, like seeing a car circling around a bunch of times.
When we hear a witness say that they saw light in there, if they saw one light on, for instance, a bathroom, how much of that house would be lit up by that light, which would raise questions on...
Dude, it's a multi-level house, just like the one I live in, and I'm telling you, not much, because from room to room, the lights don't really light up other rooms.
To Dylan Mortensen, who, if there was enough light in there, then she would have absolutely been able to see and recognize the perpetrator. So when they're then shown...
Gray has the whole like 3D layout of the house, and like that hallway that goes down to Xana's room was so like narrow and dark. I just don't think you would be able to see somebody.
Picture of Brian Koberger, for instance. How would you then not recognize that individual if you'd in fact...
maybe because she was fucking wasted, you idiot.
...saw them in relatively light conditions. We also think that you're looking at what we're seeing here. Does the crime scene images represent what we was told about the crimes and the
what we was told,
injuries sustained, and what, you know, a shit show this place was? And lastly, the acoustics in that property. How could all of this have happened without people being fully aware that something was happening?
But she said she heard noises. That's what I don't understand. They heard noises, but again, like, who the fuck would be thinking, oh, there's somebody upstairs stabbing my roommates to death? Nobody's gonna think that. Even if you do, you would probably talk yourself out of it and be like, no, that's not happening. Like, not here. Not in my college house that I feel safe in. That's not happening.
Needed.
The one thing that does make me sad about this, though, is that you did hear stories of, like, the door being left open, right, on one occasion. And then I think there was other stories about, you know, people being outside, feeling like they were being watched by somebody when they took the dog out. Like, why didn't they take the precautions to just lock the house up at night? That's the part that's so sad to me. Although he probably would have, you know, pried his way into the house, maybe. I can't believe they left the door open like that, you know? Although those, you know, sliding doors, the locks are for shit. Like, you need to put, like, mine has, like, an extra lock on it down at the bottom. So, the regular lock barely even works, you know? So, it's hard, it's easy to break into those doors, I would think.
And absolutely meant that law enforcement help needed to be called. Could this really have happened, all of these things? Because this house looks from the outside like it's relatively large, but when you actually go into this property, it feels quite cramped. The bedrooms all seem quite close to each other. If someone's coming round from Xana's and going out of the rare sliding door, you realise then how close in proximity.
One thing I was thinking, though, I just thought of this morning. If somebody left the door open, right, wouldn't it have been freezing in the house? Like, I know in my house, if I leave my sliding door open for, like, even, like, 2 minutes during the winter, the whole house is freezing. So I'm like, how did when she came out of the room that night and she went down to the other girl's room, she didn't notice that the door was open and she wasn't freezing?
A person would have been...
Didn't he see the half wall going down the bottom floor? It was very dark. Oh, I don't know.
Leave, and if they're indeed standing in Dylan Mortensen's doorway. So a lot
They weren't standing in her doorway, dude. Where did you get that from, you fucking idiot?
of questions raised here. Let me know down below what your questions are, but certainly mine are, do these pictures accurately represent what we've been told about the crime? Is there enough blood? Doesn't seem to be, in my opinion.
Oh my god, dude, find a new hobby.
And even though I can't sit here and with 100% certainty say that is that person's room, that is that person's room.
How could you not? It's very easy. Just go look at the pictures, right? There's so many videos and pictures of these people online in their rooms. It's very easy to match the rooms up. Good lord. The inside photos can misrepresent the actual size depending on the lens used. Yeah, I know. Like, when you go look at... I remember when my husband... Hold on, I gotta let the dog in. He's banging my door down. Banging the door down with his paws. When we were looking for our house, you know, initially, and we were shopping for homes, I remember, like, online, you'd look at the house and you'd be like, oh, it looks big. And then when you get there, you're like, oh, wow, this is so small. I mean, it's definitely hard to tell from pictures the size of a room. It's very hard.
Even if you factor in the 2 crime scenes and what you've been told about them, I can't see that these
Guy's
pictures
such
do
an
accurately
idiot.
represent what we have indeed seen. Yeah, it's
Yeah, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Look at this. Every fucking video on his channel. I think what happens with a lot of these people, you got him. Remember that girl that got involved in the fucking Watts case? God damn it. What's her name again? Laura did a videos about her. I can't remember her fucking name though. Holy shit. I'm having a total brain fart. She's another one who's doing all of these, you know, videos. Like, I think what happens is, like, these people get into the case, right? Their channel starts doing well because they're, you know, getting traction. And now the case, Lana, that's it. Now the case is over and they don't know what to do with themselves. They're like, what do we do with ourselves now? Like, where do we go? What do we do, you know, with our channel? Because this is all I've been talking about for years. You know, so now you're stuck with this, and you're just going to keep doing videos and videos and videos and videos and videos and videos. Look at this. Look, Brian Enton, media shell. Holy shit, that's the first time I ever saw this guy without his hat on. I didn't even know he had hair.
Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. You amazing, beautiful, wonderful.
Yeah, you should probably keep your hat on, dude. You should definitely keep your hat on, dude. He's like, I'm going to cross my arms in this picture so everybody can see my really cool tattoos. My tattoos. I love the way people from the UK say tattoo. They're like, tattoo. I don't know. It's just so cute the way they say it. He's like, I'm going to keep my arms crossed. Bro, yeah. Don't do that ever again. Don't do this ever
It's
again.
Thursday. Thursday. I was going to take a day off, you know. I thought, you know what? Sun is shining, as you can see behind me.
Take the day off from what? From fucking being a conspiracy theorist? Like, what exactly do you do all day?
And I thought, you know what? I deserve a day off. It's hot. It's like 31 degrees here in the UK. I can't even put my hat on because my head will burn off and catch fire. But you guys reached out. In video 2 later, I'm going to be talking about some amendment violations that Susan has sent me. Someone.
I can't listen to this whole fucking thing. I feel bad that he has a pink living room. Why do you have this in your dining room? Your computer setup. This guy's such a douche. Such a douche. Just such a fucking douche. Who sits like that? Nobody. He's like, oh, I want to show off my cool tattoos from the... I don't even know what is going on here. He's got a couple of tribals going on. Like, early 2000 tribals. And then, I don't know what's going on with the sleeve here. It's like a... I don't know, dude. Not good. Let's see if we could get a better picture here. Fuck. Nope. He's calling Brian Enton a shill. Yeah, Brian Enton's being paid off, right, by the fucking Idaho government. Like, dude, what are you talking about?
And then he turns around, this little twat turns around and says, well, basically, who cares? And
I got full moms again.
you know, you look at the comments. This video that he's done has got over 250,000 views, and the vast majority
Of a million views.
of the comments are people like saying, "Well, you know, Brian Koberger entered into this house, and he, you know, these people were trying to sleep, and he didn't think about them, yada yada yada." Well, the one thing I'll say to that is, look,
which is very true.
this is what I think, and that is that this case is a clusterfuck from start to finish. We're in a situation where Brian Kohberger has pled guilty to the crime. It came as a bit of a head-spinning moment where we didn't expect a plea. The case we was led to believe that the prosecution had was going to be strong and it was all going to be revealed at trial, when in fact it doesn't appear to be the case. And in fact, you could argue that...
I don't understand how these people seriously think that the case wasn't a strong case. I'm very confused. What about the case was not strong? They have his DNA at the crime scene. They have receipts of him buying the knife that was used, the exact same knife on Amazon, right? They have his phone near the location many times. Then like his car on camera. What about this wasn't a strong case? I'm very confused.
Since the plea deal and the sentencing, the release of the documentation has done nothing but raise more questions, as it would appear.
No. For you, it has, okay? But for most people, it makes sense.
That the case was largely circumstantial, and some of the issues...
That doesn't matter, though. Everybody discounts, and that's a problem. They're like, oh, circumstantial evidence. Like, it doesn't matter. It's circumstantial. We need DNA. Everybody thinks you need DNA. I mean, I always bring this up. Look at Scott Peterson's case, right? It wasn't like one or two things that happened that you're like, oh, okay, kind of looks like he killed his wife. You put all the circumstantial evidence together and you got a pretty strong case. Like, I don't know why they just completely write off the circumstantial evidence. Like, oh, it's just circumstantial, I want DNA. It's like, you don't need to have the DNA. You don't need to have the DNA. I mean, but they had DNA in this case. I don't understand. They have DNA in the case. So, like, what more do you fucking need, dude? What more do you need?
Issues around the case not only still exist, but have become more problematic in its aftermath. Now, I am not here to sit and say that Brian Kohberger is innocent of this crime, because...
You see how he tries to play both sides of the fence? It's like, dude, that's exactly what you're saying. That's exactly what you're saying.
Ultimately, I don't know. I don't know whether...
You don't know? He pled guilty, you fucking idiot. How do you not know? How do you not fucking know, dude?
He's innocent of this crime. The thing is, from my perspective, is I feel that this is a multiple perpetrator crime. And I also feel that when you look at the injuries of the individuals that they sustained...
Oh my god, dude. It's a multiple perpetrator crime. Even though we have a witness saying she only saw one person leaving the house, it's multiple people.
In my opinion, it's a non-professional opinion, this appears to be
It's very non-professional.
Someone who has killed before, whether that be another human being or whether it be animals. I think that the person at least is a hunter of some description, and I would go on to say that they seem to have almost military style skills with respect of the weapon that we've been told is the weapon that was used.
Dude, you do realize that the guy who committed this crime was studying this exact fucking thing in college for how many years now? And is seemingly doing his own independent study outside of college. So yeah, he was pretty, well versed in, where to stab people, crime scenes, and all this other shit.
And look at the methodical way in which these individuals were killed. Now, I would also argue that these individuals were not so much in their sleep, certainly not all of them, and there are questions around not only the crime itself, the timeline of the crime, and the way in which it happened. I don't believe that we have been shown an accurate
What are the questions there, buddy?
Representation of what we've been told. But with respect of Brian Kohberger and the complaints he's raised, is it right for people to turn around and say, well, who cares? Who cares? So people are taunting him, he's being shouted at, yada, yada, yada. One thing I will say is, look, this just proves how far and wide the biased nature and the way in which news travels, because obviously all of the inmates know who Brian Kohberger is, it would appear, and the prison system itself don't seem to be doing much in terms of controlling the roommates.
Why would they? Like, why?
Gives
them something to do. Yelling at Brian Kohberger is great for the prison, because they're like, great, they're all so focused on yelling at him that they're not causing other fuckery. So
argue that, if Brian Kohberger is in incarceration, then he is being punished for his crimes. He has turned around and said, yep, I did it, and he has gone into incarceration. But that doesn't mean that incarceration should include things such as sleep deprivation, which is torturous. It is
Bro, are you seriously feeling bad for this guy right now? Are you fucking kidding me? Am I like in another world right now? He's seriously feeling bad that Brian Koberger can't sleep. Is this real life right now? I don't feel even slightly bad that he can't sleep.
Torturous. And for those people who turn around and say, well, he did the crime, he should accept what he gets. We don't live in the medieval times. We're not burning people at the stake. We're not hanging people from trees.
We're not doing that. You're right. We're not doing that, though. The guy is just, dude, regardless of whether he's fucking, people are yelling through the vents, he's gonna need to get used to noise, because there's a lot of mentally ill people in prison that are gonna make noises all night regardless. So get used to it, dude. Every prison story I've ever heard, people say that there's noise all day and all night. There's no quiet time. You never get quiet, even at nighttime. No such thing.
I would like to think that we've come a long way and that we're a civilized bunch, should I?
Really? Well, if that was the case, then, we wouldn't even be having this conversation right now, because Brian Koberger wouldn't have done what he did.
Say, but what this proves is we're not a civilized bunch. We're not a civilized bunch at all. The vast majority of people around this case have been nothing but blood-hungry tossers who
like yourself,
who just want to burn people at the stake. And even to the point where if you say something, like if I say something that they don't agree with, they'll attack me, almost like you would expect them to attack the actual perpetrator of the crime. I might as well have pulled up alongside Brian.
I mean, dude, you're defending a murder, a mass murder. Okay, dude.
Crime side him, how people want to treat you if you argue with them. But we as a society,
I am just a victim here.
It shows what kind of people are.
I'm just milking the fuck out of this case and being a tragedy pimp.
And when you factor in like the 8-hour time delay, for instance, and say best case scenario is that they knew what was happening and just decided not to call 911 because they simply didn't give a shit enough to bother. And is that what the issue is? Is people just don't?
I just want. Look at the pause. That's so fucking funny. Oh my god. Yeah, that's what I said. Ain't no rest for the wicked. I mean, like, I don't really fucking care if the guy sleeps or not. It doesn't fucking bother me. But, oh my god, this guy's such an idiot. He's such an idiot. I can't. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, the 8-hour delay. Like, dude, if they called 911, it probably wouldn't have changed anything in this case.
People watch true crime and they look at these crimes and they have an opinion about them, but they don't really care. They don't really follow it. The vast majority of people who thought Brian Koberger was guilty prior to the sentencing only did.
How do you know they don't follow it?
So because it seemed to be the side to take. It proves when you've got Brian Enton doing videos that are basically laughing and joking and saying it's okay for someone who's in incarceration to be taunted and for sleep deprivation to basically.
He wasn't laughing. He just said several times, "Who cares? Who cares? I don't give a shit."
Be tortured and say, well, who cares?
That's not being tortured, dude. I mean, really, dude. He killed 4 people who did nothing to him for no reason. He burglarized their house, went in the house, okay, uninvited, and then fucking killed them, stabbed them to death. And beat one of them, like, in the face, like, where she was unrecognizable. And, like, you think that this guy should be, like, complaining about not being able to sleep in prison for a couple of nights? Fuck out of here. Who cares? He's in prison, dude. He chose this. What do you not understand about it? Everybody knows prison's horrible, okay? This is the path that this man chose to travel, so he's got to deal with the fucking consequences now. Sorry.
Well, I care because it just shows what kind of people we are. It says a lot about us as a human race, doesn't it? At the end of the day, Brian Koberger.
I don't understand this guy at all. He's like, human beings, but like, dude, at the same time, you're like kind of standing up for somebody who like I can't even say the word. I'm not even gonna try it. Who showed no mercy towards his victims.
He either did it or he didn't. I would also argue that if Brian Koberger was just this killer, do you know what I mean? This person who went into this property and done this murder, done this crime, done what he did. First of all, I would ask 2 questions. That is, why would the lead prosecutor still be trapping off about this case? He can't shut up about it. He talks about it more than anybody else does. And there seems to be an air of uncertainty. You've also...
Oh my god, why are his curtains moving? I don't know, dude. Maybe because there's a huge interest in the case and news channels and such have been wanting to interview him.
got the likes of Cellbrite coming out, who we've seen them be bought and sold previously. You know, I said yesterday, even though some of the elements that they raise are problematic if true, but it's a big if, isn't it? It's a big if it's true.
What the fuck he's talking about?
And when their article is directly contradicting what the lead prosecutor is saying, that again is also problematic. And secondly, again, if Brian Coburg was this monster who did this crime,
I don't know what the fuck he just said there would celebrate.
then why would the stuff bother him that much? Are we saying that this absolute killer, this person who doesn't care, doesn't show... It reminds me of the scene from Terminator when, you know, that Michael Biehn, when he plays Carl Reese. And he's talking about Terminator. He doesn't feel pity or remorse. He absolutely will not stop, ever, until you're dead. Now, that reminds me of the kind of the picture they want you to paint, you know, Brian Coburg as this remorseless, emotionless monster who just doesn't care. Well, he
dude, I don't know if you watched his sentencing, but yeah, he was hey garden girl, he was showed no remorse. I mean, not that we could visually see. I don't know why his computer's set up in his dining room. It's very strange. I'm just wondering why there's like this birthday cake looking thing on the table.
He does get, because he wants to get some fucking sleep, and he's getting a bit hacked off that people keep fucking shouting at him and taunting him. I just don't think that goes hand in hand with a ruthless killer. I can see them turn around saying, if you don't shut the fuck up, I'll wait until you're fucking asleep and I'll come and slit your throat while you sleep. But
except they can't do that, so why would they say that? Why would they say that? And how do you know he's not yelling back? We don't know. Nobody. Somehow it got leaked that he was complaining about noise. Okay, we don't know if he yelled back. He's a bitch. I'll tell you this much: he did his research on crime scenes and everything, but I don't think he did his research on prison life, dude. Because you know, one of those inmates finds out you complained, you're never gonna sleep again, dude. This guy don't know shit. But they're not going to come kill him in his sleep because he's in solitary confinement and he's in protective custody. That's never going to happen. At least not until the, you know, case dies down years and years from now. He might get, you know, introduced to general population where somebody like that has a target on their back because, you know, that's like first of all, you got people that are like, hey, I'll kill this motherfucker just for some street cred in here. You know what I'm saying? You get somebody like that. And then there's other people that maybe they killed, you know, somebody, but they're, you know, hurting children or, you know, girls or something might be against their morals, which probably doesn't make sense. But, you know, there's people in there for all different reasons. So he will definitely be killed. He said it was... I watched the Brian Enter video and it said it was Chris McDonough. Oh, Chris McDonough. I can't stand listening to that.
If you're someone who follows this type of thing, what Brian Enter is pushing and saying that, you know, to go into incarceration and basically be tortured and be taunted and
he's not the only one pushing that. There's like tons of people saying it.
And that's cool and who cares, then you should really have a good look at yourself. Because you're paying for it. You're paying for that kind of service. You know what I mean? The taxpayer pays for the prison system.
We're paying for the service. It's not a service, number one. Number two, how are the guards going to control hundreds of inmates that are yelling at night? I mean, that's the least of their fucking problems.
And, you know,
I guess this guy doesn't know much about the U.S. prison system. I'm guessing.
I think that prison... What do people learn in prison? What's prison all about? Well, it just seems that it's just a fucking free-for-all. They can just do whatever they want. You know, there's no rehabilitation. There's nothing in there. It is just about...
That's pretty much... Yeah, you're pretty much right, guy.
Screws letting...
That's prison. What do you want? What is this guy... What would this guy like prison to be? There's no rehabilitation because this is a... Does he understand that the prison that this guy is in, it's a maximum security prison, and most of the people that are in there are doing life in prison. They're never getting out. So what the fuck do these people care? Rehabilitate them for what? They're not going to ever see the outside world again. It's a max security prison. Death row inmates are housed there. And, you know, like the worst of the worst inmates in Idaho are housed there. And most of them are doing life sentences. So these people have nothing to live for. So... what are we rehabilitating them for? Like, what is this guy like? Really? Is he this stupid? Yeah, guards are too busy dodging poop being thrown. Seriously, yelling is the least of their concerns. They're actually happy that they're yelling and just, you know, keeping themselves occupied with that. The guards don't hear them. What do they care? They're fucking up in their little pod, up in the, you know, thing. How are you rehabilitating people who are doing life sentences? Rehabilitating them for what? They're not ever coming out into the real world, so this guy's an idiot.
And the prisoners do what the fuck they like. In this case, they're just going to torture someone who we haven't, as the public, been absolutely shown that Brian Coburg was the person who did this crime.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god. We as the public haven't been absolutely shown that this is the person that did this crime. Wow. Dude, he pled guilty to it, man. Why would somebody plead guilty a few weeks before their fucking trial is supposed to start, okay? You know why? Because he knew that he had 0 chances of winning this trial. And at that point in time, it became just like Jodi Arias' trial. Jodi Arias was not trying to prove if she was guilty or innocent. Jodi Arias was trying to save her life from a death sentence. That's what her trial was. It had nothing to do with her guilt or innocence. She tried to do a self-defense, thing. Didn't work out. Okay, nobody believed it. There was tons of evidence showing otherwise. I mean, self-defense, you're trying to say you're in an abusive relationship and then you drive 500 miles to your abuser. You're at a safe distance away from your abuser, and then all of a sudden one day you decide to drive 500 miles and you get some gas cans on the way there so you don't have to stop and, get some gas. You lie about your trip, right? And then you stab somebody, slice their throat open, and shoot them. And you want us to believe that it was self-defense, right? Okay. Well, anyway, that's what Koberger's trial would have been. It basically would have been him just fighting for his life. At that point in time, why bother? Just take the life sentence, dude. Why put everybody through the trial? Drag your family through it. Who knows what kind of conversations he had with his parents, but he might have had some conversations with his parents and his attorneys, and they just told him, look, man, this is what we got here. So he took the life sentence. What more do you need to know? If he was innocent, trust me, he would be fighting for his life to prove that. Yeah, I know. It looks like somebody just rounded his head off. I don't know. He needs to find a new barber, this guy.
Did it alone, what capacity he could have potentially been involved. There does seem, as I mentioned, to be some form of confusion or some form of almost uncertainty shown by Bill Thompson. And there's still articles coming out that seem to be bought and paid articles that are directly contradicting the very people who are investigating. But let me know what you think down below.
Dude, move on. This guy's in it. Whoa, what happened? Oh, I'm shocked. What the fuck? Oh, there I am. Hi. Yeah. That's what we're dealing with here. I mean, could you believe this guy still is questioning whether he did it or not? Dude, just move on already. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be another case you could fucking cover and come up with a conspiracy about. Doesn't make sense. It's not going to make sense. We don't have and never had all the information. We still don't have all the information. So, of course it's not going to make sense. 100%. Oh my god. This guy's an idiot. Total idiot. Anyway, looks like he got a bowl haircut. And BK looks like Herman Munster. Ugh, he's so gross. Anyway, alright, I gotta hop off here because I gotta go get my son from his last day here. But it was lovely catching up with you guys today. And I don't know when I'll see you guys sometime soon, but I've been I'll be busy the next week or so. So I probably won't get to, come live next week. Maybe. I don't know. I'll see. But I hope everybody has a great rest of their day. And I will see you soon. All right. Adios.